What's up, my curious Concord grape jellies? This is Rob from A Gay Guy Plays. Now, it's been quite a while since I last did a snapshot, and to be honest with you, I haven't really been all that interested in a lot of the weapons that DE has been releasing. However, with the most recent changes to Kuva weapon acquisition, I was like, alright, I could probably jump into this, especially with the addition of the Kuva Nukor. Now, I know everybody's been going crazy about the Kuva Brahma. Is it good? Is it bad? Self-damage? Blah, blah. Listen, I don't care about all of that because literally, I just want to be able to like shoot shit and microwave their body parts. Is that too much to ask? There's also the Kuva Hind that's been added in as well. I don't know if anybody is all that enticed by it, but let me know down in the comments below if that is something that you're going to be searching for. However, today, we're going to be taking a look to see if the Kuva Nukor was worth it. Now, you can pick up the Kuva Nukor the exact same way you can get your hands on all of the Kuva weapons, and that's basically by spawning a Kuva larvaling, then turning them into a Kuva Lich, then fighting your Kuva Lich with all of the crazy RNG that you have to do. I'll leave a link to my old video on how to do that up in the top corner. However, I did want to make mention of a node that I'm sure plenty of people have already been fully aware of. However, yesterday when I was live on stream, I did notice that a lot of people were still using Adaro, and I suggested that before. However, because of the fact that you can cycle through a bunch of Kuva larvalings now and see what weapons they're carrying, it'll actually be like a little floaty over their head as a preview of what weapon they'll spawn with. The best way to go is to jump into Saturn Cassini. It's just a capture mission and you're able to go in there. Every time that I went on stream last night to kind of cycle through the weapons, super duper easy. You just go in, kill the capture target. By the time you get to the end of a mission, a Kuva larvaling should spawn for you and you should be able to see what type of weapon they've got floating above their head after you have slain them or downed them, but not necessarily finished them with your Parazon. So that way you get a little bit of a choice and it's a faster mission rather than clearing and exterminate over and over and over doing that. So I hope that little tip helped. Alrighty, so as we can see, the Kuva Nukor is a highly optimized Nukor that allows for this weapon's microwave field to hit up to 4 additional targets. And basically all that means is it chains just like the Atmos's beam to another target within 10 meters and just continues to chain to any targets within that range. Now, as compared to the standard variant, it does have a higher critical chance, and I know that sounds like a little bit of a joke because it goes from 3% up to 7%. Woo, crazy. Now, when we get the mods in, you'll notice that it's actually not as bad as that sounds. The critical multiplier, however, which has always been kind of like the feature of this weapon, went from 4 times, which is already kind of big, up to 5 times. So definitely we want to go ahead and make use of that. The magazine has also increased from 50 to 77, and the status chance has gone up from 29% up to 50, which is freaking fantastic. However, the base damage did go down by 1 point. So can't really feel too bad about that loss when we have so much more statistical upgrades. And I know like 4% critical chance, not crazy great, but let's go ahead and take a look at it in action and then jump into some discussions about the build. Now, we're going to start this off with 1 target, but I'm going to pause the AI on this, and that's because of the fact that this beam, I do believe, has a max range of 29 meters, which is still pretty freaking far away, as you can see right here. We are sitting at 31 meters out and we're not hitting anything. We go to 30 meters, still not hitting anything. And then we go to 29 meters and we actually do get a little bit of a strike on that target. Now, let me go ahead and pop off some headshots right here and whoo, that 100% status chance, I mean, after it's all modded up, is very, very, very sexy. Let's take a look at that one more time. I definitely feel like, listen, the Nukor in its own right was fantastic before, but, well, I mean, can we say fantastic for its mastery rank before? And that's why I always say with specific weapons out there, you can't really trust the mastery rank rating on it because it can be a mother freaking powerhouse, which is exactly what is going on, or which happened with the original Nukor, and now, of course, here with the Kuva Nukor, it's just absolutely insane. Now, I'm going to go ahead and spawn a couple more of these guys just so that you guys can take a look at how the chaining effect works and see how effective it is there. The only thing that I will say with this is the fact that this does have radiation tends to get enemies to cluster in themselves, which is kind of awesome for the effect that it has on it. Now you can put other like elements on here if you really wanted to, but as you can see, it's actually pretty good at clearing a group of enemies. Now, let's take a look at the build that we've got, because this is where we can kind of play around a little bit. Now, you guys know you got to use the appropriate elemental combo in order to deal the optimal amount of damage. I'm just pointing that out. So picture this with like gas damage on Corpus. Absolutely glorious, right? However, what we're doing right now is I've got Augur Pact in, and this is basically a status critical build. And the reason that I push status and critical, I use Prime Pistol Gambit. It has a 187 critical chance and boost it up to 21%. On a fully auto weapon, that's not bad at all. So for me, I'm okay with that. And that little bump in critical chance, even though it was only 4%, actually did this weapon wonders. I also went ahead and tossed on a Prime Target Cracker because, listen, if we're sitting at like 5 times critical damage and we bump that up, we're now sitting at 10 times critical damage. That's kind of nuts. Now, I wanted to show it off with Augur Pact initially because I did see some discussion saying, oh, it's a beam weapon, you know what I mean? You can go ahead and put Magnum on it, which is, hold on, let me remember, Magnum Force. And if you're okay with this, you can definitely see the beam wobble. There is no truth to the, oh, it doesn't affect it. So you can see how straight that beam is, right? But if we put Magnum Force on it, then you can go ahead and see the true effect of Magnum Force. You can definitely see the true effect of that wobble on it. Now, the question is, are people gonna mind that at all or not? It's really up to you, but you can see how wobbly that beam is. You're getting, it almost kind of reminds me of like Ghostbusters. You know how the Ghostbusters have that like beam? Now, if you don't mind that and you can work with that, that's totally fine. Whatever is up to you. You get more damage out of it. And honestly, it's not my build. But what I actually really like on this is hydraulic crosshairs. Because, listen, we get another 135% critical chance, which in this case, we'll probably bring this, I haven't done the hard math on this, maybe we'll bring this up to like 30+% critical chance when you're zoomed in and you get your headshots. But I mean, it really, either way it'll work. Either way it'll work, and I'm happy with it. I just like to kind of like get in on the fact that, you know, we're making fun of the joke, right? It's only got a 7% critical chance at its base, but it has this crazy critical multiplier, and I have to buy into that. Now, I do want to point out a couple things depending on what Warframe, like, ooh, you get a couple good critical chances in there, and then all of a sudden it just pops off like crazy. You can also use this with Harrow, where you can use Covenant, absorb all of that damage, and then go ahead and go on a crazy crit rampage. Like, I don't feel like I need to show that to you because I'm sure your brain can already figure out how that works. There is also that one arcane that I think you've got a 14% chance when struck to get, I believe it is 30% critical chance. And I believe that is additive, and you can stack 2 of those, and they'll have their own separate triggers, of course. And basically what ends up happening is you can force more crit on this thing. Don't forget your Adarzas and your Smitas with their additive critical chances. Well, actually, I guess Smita just forces you to a certain point, and then the Adarza will give you a flat, I believe it's 60%. So that way you'll be able to kind of like really force the crit out on this thing. I find those to be really gimmicky, but it is kind of fun to see it in action. So for me personally, definitely load up your Harrows, get your Adarzas out, or if you've got like a, you know, a tanky build, you can go ahead and toss it on there too. This is just, it's just kind of stinking fantastic. Like, you've got the critical damage on there, you've got the growing body parts. It's just great overall. So me personally, I definitely felt like this was worth doing a little bit of a snapshot on. I don't know if the rest of you guys agree, but let me know how you feel about this weapon in the comments below. In addition, are you excited for the Kuva Brahma, even though it's got, you know, it's got a big AoE and there is a lot of self-damage out there? Or are you kind of interested in the Kuva Hind? I don't think anybody's really been all of that interested in it, but it does have the 3 different fire modes. toss all of your feelings out in the comments below, and that about does it for me for now. So as always, love somebody, hurt nobody, and touch your body. I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye!